Hello there and welcome to issue number 92, and this issue is all about the Aries Go. All the dates that you have to be in this Western and Eastern astrological combination of a sign is prior to this video. Those are all the dates you have to be in Aries Go. If there's any questions or any dates that I haven't put down, i.e. 12 years previous or 24 years previous, as we know it's a 12-year cycle, just message me or inbox me on here and I'll get back to you straight away with any questions or anything about the video. Your feedback's very welcome. Okay, let's start straight away. So we've normally, we start at the beginning. So we've got to look at the Aries being, let's look at them first and foremost. Well, the Aries child, we start in the early days, preschool days and the junior school days. The Aries is, as we've said, they're a live wire. They are into everything. They're mischievous, but not in a nasty way. They have to be first and they have to just be involved. They love being the centre of attention, but it's in a nice way. They always have a smile. They always like to try and cheer their friends up. And they are just a ball of fire, a ball of fun, and that's the way they go about stuff. So what happens with the mix when the goat comes into it, what does it do? Does it, work well for the Aries, or does it, bring something different to the party? Well, yes, it does. Goat children are quite reticent. They're quite laid back to the point of they like to feel comfort. It's not that they will dislike school. In the early days it won't be hard to get them there, but they're very sort of keep themselves to themselves. They can be a little bit dreamy-fied. So when this is thrown into the mix, it makes this Aries, not a leader. And how can you say, oh, an Aries not being a leader? That's impossible. All Aries are leaders. Well, it's one of these conundrums where not all Aries are the same. You may say, I've got a friend who's an Aries, they're totally different to the other Aries. Well, this is why. Because this doesn't make this Aries a leader. This makes this Aries very placid. You may think that's strange, but it does. It makes them a lot more placid, a lot more thoughtful. It actually makes them quite sensitive. Yes, they smile, and they have got great humour, as always, as all the Aries do. They love to have good humour. But they're very sensitive in the way they use that humour, and they like to chill back with friends. They like to relax back. They don't need to be at the forefront. They don't need to be seen. As I say, they certainly don't need to lead groups. They gradually join in, but they don't actually need to be the forerunner. They don't need to be the voice of the class, or trying to prove themselves all the time. They can just get through very nicely indeed, thank you. That's the way they feel. And this carries all the way through. If we go to senior school, college, university, you find this character has just gone about his business very well. A little dreamy in there. It adds a little bit of mystique to the Aries, because whereas the Aries, what you see is what you get. They wear the hearts on their sleeve. They're very demonstrative about how they're feeling, or when they're up, they're up, The goat's a little bit more subtle. You have to look a little bit deeper. They're not so forthcoming to let you know, but they join in with their groups. They love recreation time. They love to go off and wander on their own. They don't have to be surrounded all the time. They're equally okay being individual, being on their own. They go for long walks. They're quite dreamy. And it leans a little bit towards artistic pursuits as well. So maybe they take up the paint brushes, or they may sculpt, or they may invent artistic stuff. So printing, etc. Different. It adds strings to the Aries bow. I'm not saying the Aries is insensitive. It's very positive to have Aries around you, because the stronger Aries, they'd be like, you might say, a problem to them, and the Aries will always be positive in their response. Only you can change it, they say. Will you do something about it? The goat is a little bit more subtle and a little bit more sensitive when it joins the Aries in how it may offer advice. They're willing to just sit quietly with you, if you're on a low one. So there are little things it does bring. It adds a lot of difference to the sign. You know, it does, you know, change them quite a bit, and I think it's a really nice combination, this, because yes, you've got the fire there, but it's subtler, it burns a little bit slower, it's not so intense in the sense of they want to burn themselves out, or, you know, they get a theory in their head and they pursue it 1000% and then they just drop off it. You know, it gives the Aries a little bit of solidity in the sense of if they pursue something, they continually do it, not so headstrong at it, but they will continually just boom, 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 and then they will get through to the end. A lot of Aries have a lot of unfinished business. It's because they just blow themselves out and then they move on to the next thing. And you know, that's just why this does lend some real good stuff to the Aries, having the goat in the equation. So if we take them through, they'll be very good studiers, they'll be very bright, because they're willing to listen. The Aries, I've always thought, would do so much better if they did listen, because yes, there's no doubt that the Aries people are bright because they have a thirst for information. They're normally first on the scene for something, make excellent reporters, but sometimes they need to just take in as much information as they want to give. That really will help them, and the goat helps them do this. It achieves them, you know, they achieve their intelligence in a nice, steady, quiet pace, which they absorb so much more, and there's a big capacity for using this to great advantage later on. So just that little bit of subtlety does help massively. So if we're going through what jobs will they find, well, the Aries likes to be their own boss, as we know, or at least manage a floor, or at least, you know, be some sort of top person in a firm. Well, the goat's very, you know, happy with being just a lieutenant somewhere, or just being a very pragmatic, strong, reliable character. It adds a bit of balance to them. You know, they're not in and out of jobs. They tend to get their job, they tend to just do it well, but then come away and enjoy their recreation. They're good at leaving work where it is. Some Aries bring it home and it can plague them, but this combination is excellent at leaving work. Well, that's there. I love my recreation. I go for my walks, I go for my cycling, I meet my friends. I've got loads of, you know, they really will enjoy that chilling out. You know, they love the beach, the seaside, etc. So that's brilliant. You know, they have a good balance of relax and work. So very, very positive for health-wise as well. And if we look at the goat, the Aries goat, what would be perfect matches for them? So as we say, we've got, you know, we've still got that attractive Aries-ness, that fascination and the way they can pursue people. But by stepping back, they make themselves more attractive, and this makes us an attractive sign, and one that doesn't bulldozer in to relationships. There's a little bit more courting, maybe a little bit more not falling in love straight away, a little bit more leaving more to mystery, which, you know, is a very appealing proposition. And they're very, very appealing for the pigs. The pigs out there, for the goats, well, the pigs are very ardent and powerful lovers. They're very sensuous. They will enjoy the recreation time. They will enjoy, you know, that togetherness and that, you know, going off if you want to walk. Pigs don't mind socialising either. They don't mind having a good time with you. So there's the nice balance. Plus you will feel loved and very secure. The goat will add that nice bit of mystery, and they will add that nice bit of sensitivity and romance that the pig very much enjoys. You know, they're not just a wham bam either. So, you know, this is a very loving chemistry, a very loving mix. So let us look for the Gemini pigs, the Leo pigs, the Aquarius pigs, and we also have to look for the Sagittarian pigs, because those in the mix, you know, they're very, very important, you know, to keep in those little blocks, and there's all augurs well for those unions. And also the rabbits, because the rabbits with their, okay, a little bit more subdued nature, if you like, but a little bit more prone for security. They love their security and they love their homes. So the goat, if it does like to have a wander, which they do, and the Aries goat will like to go and wander sometimes, they know in the back of their mind the confidence of that somebody's there at home for them, and you know, all's well for them. They've got a nice home to come home to. They've got that security. They've got someone thinking about them, the little things, and the rabbit does that very well. These would be very good conversationalists, and they'd be quite an intellectual couple. So this is a very good union. So if we look for the rabbits under Leo, Gemini, Sagittarius and Aquarius, very, very strong. The ones we need to avoid though are the oxen, because the oxen, okay, there's lots to admire about the oxen. For the goat, absolutely, the oxen's, you know, solidity, their ploddiness, but the way they get to their goals. But there's a strict timetable difference between these. The ox goes down to the very second and is a little bit defensive and a little bit quiet sometimes, and it will unsettle the goat really, who likes a lot of maybe to-ing and fro-ing of conversation as well, and it likes to be a little bit romantic. Yes, the oxen doesn't mind romance, but if there's time and a place, the goat likes to be a little bit more sort of ad hoc about it, not having it so mapped out. The ox likes things in routine, so that's where this collapses a little for each other, and they end up having a bit of a sulk up, and neither one really will give in, and they just be a sulk off, and it just goes down to nobody really talking whatsoever, and it's just no good for anybody. If we look at health wise for the Aries goat, well, sometimes we look at Aries and we think burnout, but with the goat we've got somebody who enjoys the balance there. You know, they don't get too stressed up, which really helps the Aries. So this is really looking for a great long life, a very, very healthy, strong, you know, combination here. As I say, the stress levels will be dropping. They don't bring work home, so there's no chance of them over worrying about stuff like that, getting anxious about meetings, because they keep it in perspective. And I think, you know, everything looks good for this combination health-wise. Well, thanks very much for tuning into this issue, and please join in for the next one. Thank you.